Hey, Walt here from Stogie Review, here with another video cigar review. And this time I got my cigar lit, and I'm kind of underway in smoking it. And then the reason being I'm kind of late to the recording party here is that I just kind of lit up the cigar. I sat back. I got the laptop ready to just sort of hit up Twitter and Facebook, and it kind of dawned on me that I haven't done any sort of write-up or review on these cigars, and I've got like one more left after this, and I thought, you know, it's probably better that I turn on the camera with this one just in case, you know, the last one I have, there's something wrong with it. So the cigar I'm smoking is the Cain F Lancero. It's got a foot range, which I popped off earlier. And the reason I came about these cigars, or how I came about these cigars, was I'm a member of the Studio Tobacco Advisory Board, and how that came to be, or how I came to be on it, was back a while ago when Sam left Oliva. I got to sit down with Dave Wagner, who's the Vice President of Sales for Oliva, and sort of discuss what was going on so that I could write up a post on Stogie Review about it. And you know, there was talks about studio tobacco and things, and toward the end of the conversation, he had made mention of this advisory board that was being put together, and he asked me if I'd be interested in being a part of it. So I asked some general questions. You know, I wanted to know who all was going to be on it, and when I got the feedback on some of the people that they were interested in, you know, I wanted to know if this was a marketing campaign or what, because, you know, I'm not interested in being a part of a marketing campaign. You know, if you're going to bring in, you know, quote unquote high profile bloggers and people in the public eye between Twitter, Facebook, and various cigar forums, then, you know, this really isn't for me. I'm not really interested in being in a marketing scheme as it may be. So he assured me that that's not what, you know, that wasn't the goal in the advisory board, and he explained that advisory board members would be just that, sort of advisors to bounce ideas off of, to send product samples to. Some things will probably never see production and be horrible. Other things will see production and be very successful. And, you know, that was kind of the way it was pitched to me. So I told Dave, yeah, I'm interested in it. I'm looking forward to, you know, to being a part of it. And later on, when the executive board had their meeting, my name was nominated and unanimously passed. And a short time later, I got a box of cigars in the mail. Now, inside the box, there was a letter sort of congratulating me or welcoming me to the Studio Tobacco Advisory Board team. And there were 4 Cain F Nub and 4 Cain F Lancero. And I was a fan of the Cain F Nub, which I've had a few of. And I was really interested in this Lancero that I kept hearing about. So I immediately smoked one, and I really liked it. I know that's kind of saying that's a bit of a review killer, but I was really wowed by the cigar, and I wound up going through most of them really quickly. And it wasn't until I met up with Dave again later on, we had got together at a local cigar shop with Paul Shing just to kind of hang out, and Dave gave me some more, and I've been burning through them pretty good. I think Dave handed me another 4. Plus, I smoked one while I was there, so I think I've got one left, and you know, I've probably smoked 8 or 9 or so. I guess this is my 9th, and you know, it just kind of dawned on me that I haven't done any kind of review on it, and I really enjoy the cigar, and it is going to be available soon when the tour starts. From what I understand, these are going to be available in the Studio Tobacco Sampler, I believe. And, you know, probably next year, if it gets as much praise as it has from the small segment of people that smoked it, I guess it's going to roll out in standard production next year. So you will definitely be able to get your hands on them soon enough. So that's the really long, drawn-out introduction to this video, where I haven't talked much about this cigar at all, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to take a break, smoke a little bit of my Cain F Lancero, and then I'll come back and we'll take a look at the first third. Although I really don't know where this video is going. I just kind of turned the camera on and started talking. So it may be fairly short and concise after this segment, and it could just turn into a really long, drawn-out review video thing. So sit tight, and it's probably a good time to click the pause button and go get a drink just in case. So sit tight, I'll be right back. Well, I am back, still plugging away on my Cain F Lancero, and I really do enjoy these things. They're full-bodied, they're very crisp through the sinus, they have a very distinct sort of spicy kick to them. They're not overwhelming, and actually the Lancero is a bit toned down compared to the other Fs that I've had. Primarily, I've smoked a couple of the Robustos back when they were available in like the boxes of 5. I smoked, I don't know, probably 2 boxes worth of those. A couple of the ones from before that release, I think they were a little bit shorter, and I think they came in like a sample pack or at the events or something, and I managed to get a couple of singles from them, and those were good. And I had the Cain F Nub, which was the marriage between Nub and Cain, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a nice, bold, flavorful cigar, like polar opposite the Cain line, the standard Cain line. And you're probably wondering, like, hey, I saw you do that review of the, I guess it was the Cain Maduro, and you said that it was the least flavorful thing Oliva has produced. And I still stand by that. I almost feel sort of like tone deaf with the Cain line, especially the Maduro. I can't taste anything with them. They're just like flat, powerful, boring cigars in my mind. But the F, for whatever reason, these things just come alive, and I really like them. And the Lancero kind of tones down the power from the F a little bit, smooths it out just a bit, and these are totally smokable earlier on the day. The regular Cain line, they give me the shakes. They don't taste like anything, but yet I get like the shakes from them. It's weird. I guess it's all the nicotine that's in them. But just the other day, I smoked one of these at 6 a.m. A couple of hours before breakfast with a cup of coffee, and it went really well. I mean, it was a bit stout for that early in the morning, but they smoke really well, and I really don't think these are too overwhelming. They're like an any time of the day cigar. I mean, your mileage may vary. I can smoke some of these more potent cigars earlier on in the day and not worry about it. Other people, even these in the evening after a big heavy meat and potatoes dinner is still kind of shakes them a little bit. But I really enjoy these cigars. As far as the flavor profile goes, there's a nice heavy spice through the sinus. When you retrohale nice and slow, you get a nice steady kind of a burn. It's kind of cool. I like it. It's got a nice aromatic, almost like a cedary kind of aroma to it. The resting smoke is a little pungent. It's one of those cigars where I feel like I kind of have to dodge the smoke after I blow it out and make sure it doesn't waft back in my face. This isn't one of those cigars that are going to be nice and fragrant and fill the room with that nice cigar aroma. These kind of stink a little bit, but in my experience, the cigars that stink the most usually taste the best. And I really think that's the case with the old Serie V and the El Cobre. Both of those were pretty pungent, but they had great flavor. It's I'm getting a little bit of sweetness now that the palate is sort of resting, and I'm still getting a nice woody kind of cedar flavor lingering on the palate, and overall it's nice. As far as the smoking characteristics go, they do tend to flower a little bit like this, and I do have a tendency to get ash all over the place with these. This is about as long as I like the ash to get. Being that it's a Lancero with a small ring gauge, you know, I wouldn't expect this ash to get really long and hold on solid. There's just not enough meat, you know, making up the foundation of the ash. Burn-wise, I would say 90% of the F Lanceros that I've smoked draw very well. There's a little bit of resistance to them, but they give you a mouthful of really dense smoke. And that other 10% I've had a bit of problems with. Every now and again I get one where you look at the foot and there's an obvious hole in the filler. And the cigars end up getting really hot when I try to smoke past that. The draw reduces dramatically. It's mostly air. And again, the cigar gets pretty hot. I found that when you run into that problem, it's just easier to get out your cutter and just cut the end of the cigar off and relight it. Because of the smaller ring gauge, it just doesn't take much to overheat them, and then they get sour and unenjoyable. And the next thing you know, you got a cigar that's this long and it's just hot to hold on to, and it takes a long time to cool down. So overall, they've performed really well as far as construction goes. The flavor is fantastic. I really enjoy these cigars. They're not really deep and dynamic. The flavor profile is more or less the same throughout. In all of the samples that I've had, there isn't a lot of twists and turns throughout. I just really enjoy the core flavor profile that sort of builds as you go through. It really doesn't take any twists and turns and throw wild flavors at you. It's kind of tame in that sense. But I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to take another break. I'll be back in just a second, and we'll take a look at the next portion of the cigar. And still, I don't know what type of review this is going to turn into. It may wind up just be me talking about Oliva and studio tobacco and stuff, and mildly brushing, you know, what the cigar is or is not. So sit tight, and I'll be right back. Well, I'm still plugging along on my Cain F Lancero, and because the cigar is relatively one-dimensional, and I really don't expect it to change throughout, this is probably going to be the last portion of the review. There's really no point in talking a little bit, turning the camera off, and then turning it back on one more time just to tell you the same thing about the last little bit. As far as this cigar goes, it's been performing really well. Still getting plenty of smoke, easy draw, nice and flavorful. Still a mixture of just a hearty natural tobacco flavor. It's got some nice cedar tones to it. There's a nice spiciness and a bit of a like a pepper sauce kind of burn through the nose. And you know, when you combine all that together, it makes a real powerhouse cigar that has just a very powerful, stout flavor profile and like power level. This is most definitely a full-bodied cigar. It is not as potent or full-bodied as the Cain F Nub, and it's not as potent as the smaller Cain F Robusto. I haven't had any of the other sizes, if there's even other sizes. I really don't follow the Cain line much. But what I can say is that this is easily the best Cain F Vitola there is as far as I'm concerned. Great in the morning. It's a bit powerful for the morning, but it's totally doable. It's good in the afternoon. It's good in the evening. It's just a good all-around cigar. I really do enjoy them. And just I'm a big fan of the Lancero size. Not all cigars are better in the Lancero format. For instance, I got a chance to try the La Aurora 107 Lancero. I think it's a very good cigar, but I think the Corona is better. I think maybe the extra ring gauge in the Corona does that cigar a little more justice. But in this case, the smaller size definitely makes this stick shine. In terms of the Cain line, again, I'm not a big fan outside of the F, but I really am impressed with this one. I believe the studio tobacco events start really soon, within the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure of the tour schedule. I haven't really been following the whole studio tobacco press train. I don't get the press releases, and I'm really not actively seeking out what's going on with the brand. I'm assuming that Brian Scholey, the ambassador from Studio Tobacco, will be at Cigar Fest. I'll get a chance to meet him there. If I haven't met him already at IPCPR, I've met a lot of the Oliva guys, but I can't remember whether or not I met Brian Scholey. You know, the other day I had someone ask me what I thought of the whole Sam Lancero situation. And you know, I'm really sad to see Sam go. He's one of the manufacturers that, when asked about, I didn't just refer to him as a manufacturer that I've met. You know, I think Sam's a great guy, and I do consider him a friend of mine. You know, we've smoked numerous cigars together at various events and get-togethers and things like that. And he's a real nice guy. It's a shame to see him go, and I wish him the best. I'm not quite sure how Studio Tobacco is planning on moving forward. I know they are still doing the big tours with the custom Corvette and things like that, but I'm really curious to see how Brian Scholey picks up the events, because Sam, you know, he's a real high energy guy, and he does really well with these events, doing rolling and things like that. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to go, and I guess I'll get my first look at Cigar Fest. I don't think there are any Studio Tobacco events in the general area, and I'm not driving several hours to go to one. So that is my look at the Cain F Lancero, with a whole lot of just banter mixed in of various topics. So I hope that gives you your long video fix. I know a lot of people were mentioning that they would like to see me go back to doing the long review format, but just time is really difficult to do these. Tonight I just happen to have, you know, just plenty of time for whatever reason, and you know, there's probably not going to be a big formal write-up that goes along with this video, mainly because I didn't take any notes along the way. And it's, I mean, I suppose I probably could put something together depending on how much time I have, you know, when this review goes up. I do have one other review done and ready to go, which is the Curivari Reserva Limitada Petite Cafe, which should have probably gone up already. So depending on how I decide to publish these, this may go up or that may go up first. It's kind of up in the air. But this is, you know, probably the longest one I've done in quite a while. So hit the comment section down there and tell me what you think about the Cain F line in general. Have you tried the other sizes outside of the Robusto that was available in that 5-count box for a while? And you know, just generally, just tell me what you think. Comment though, because I'm starting to get it complex. I think I got like 2 comments on the last review, and that's going to do it. I've talked enough for one evening. So until next time, happy smoking. Went out on me. Talked too much.